Hi there, it's Mama E again. Today I'm joined by my friend, my daughter, my executive administrative assistant, my driver, my whatever. We thought today that we talk about relationships from two different perspectives. You know, we come from a couple of different generations. I know you thought we were sisters, but we come from two different generations, and perhaps we look at things differently. And I thought today we'd kind of talk about relationships. I'd like to throw the question out on the table. Just what do you see happening in relationships today? If they're working, what's happening to make them work? If they're not working, what's causing that?
The generation that I am around on a consistent basis, that would range from late 20s all the way up to your late 40s. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting having the conversations about relationships because you have so many different mindsets that are out there, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, a lot of people have kind of devalued love. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they don't expect for it to be a longevity type of situation.
Okay.
I mean, if you have somebody and you've dated them for over 2 years, mm-hmm. they think that's amazing.
Right.
When that should just be a saying that I once heard that men marry the women they can't sleep with. Mm-hmm. Women like to marry the men they do sleep with. Mm-hmm. So you have this battle of the minds. You have the women going into relationships thinking that, you know, the quicker I get my body to him, the more that he'll love me. Mm-hmm. So you sleep with him on the third day, but he can't say I love you until maybe 3 months to 4 months down the road.
Good. Let me stick a pin there. Okay, so I understand that for many women, the idea that if I sleep with him, that says love. From my perspective, it's even deeper than that. Women are created to be receivers. Okay. All right? Even from a physical perspective, God created our bodies so that we would receive and give. By the time, for the most part, by the time we get to a sexual experience, mm-hmm. our heart is in it.
Right.
Now, what typically happens is, I think, many times women will pretend that we're not there.
Absolutely.
That I can just have sex and it not mean anything.
Right.
And that might be true on some level. But if we're talking about the way we're created, and the reason God said, I want you to have one partner, mm-hmm. is because He knew that it was a soulish thing. Right. Okay? And so when we have had multiple partners before we get married, mm-hmm. unfortunately, we didn't leave the memory of those partners right. outside the bedroom. Okay, so I think when we talk about this issue of relationships, you're right that we look at it differently.
And the sad thing is, to me, it all starts in the mind. It really mm-hmm. does. How you look at yourself. Mm-hmm. What do you think your worth is? What do you think you should get in return for yes. what you're putting out? And putting out, I don't mean physically.
Yes,
meaning that when you're in a relationship with someone, it is emotionally, it is physically from the standpoint that you exert strength. You're going out, or you're exerting effort, if you will.
Right.
You know, my brother, who I love so much, we were talking about relationships one day, and we were going over some of the not so good things about mm-hmm, relationships. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know what, sis? When you look up work in the dictionary, it says labor. Mm-hmm. He says, I work for a living. I go to a job that I have to be at. Mm-hmm. He said, when I get in a relationship, I don't want to work at it. That's mm-hmm. labor intense. Mm-hmm. He said, I want to just be able to exert energy. That's different.
Yeah.
Anything that you love, anything that you're passionate about, you can, if you're a singer, you know that you can go in the studios and record for 10 hours straight and mm-hmm. it will not bother you at all mm-hmm. because you're exerting energy.
But not work.
There you go. If
yes.
you were, had to be a construction worker and working outside in Florida mm-hmm. in 100-degree weather, you wouldn't want to do something that labor intensive. Mm-hmm. But that's how relationships are. Anytime it gets to the point to where it is a laboring situation, mm-hmm. both players need to step away and say what's going on.
But would you agree, though, that even if we don't call it work, and I agree with him, he said the same thing to me, and I had not thought about it that way, because I've for so long said that marriage was work.
Right.
Okay? But when I look at it from the standpoint that even if it's not labor intensive, even if it's not work, would you agree that it does require exerting energy.
Oh, absolutely. And you should exert energy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, everything that my profession, my career, I absolutely love what I do.
Mhm.
So therefore, to work 20-hour days, you get into bed and your back hurts, your knees hurt. When the sheets come on you,
Mhm.
your body is in that much pain.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, you're so happy with what you were able to achieve.
Yes.
Well, same thing in a relationship. If you had to put out energy to, I really don't feel like going to the movies tonight,
Mhm.
but this is quality time.
And you know, I wanted to you just did what I wanted to do. I wanted to give examples
Right.
of what we mean when we say it requires to know a person, the energy, the effort that we put into a relationship
Mhm.
at some point.
Yeah.
That you might start off worried about how you would perceive me. That's why we dress up for a date.
Yeah, you see your
because I'm
representative,
worried,
right?
about how you will perceive me.
Right.
At some point, I know that you're going to see me when I have a cold.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
I think that if I've put in the energy
Exactly.
into the relationship, I'm safe
Right.
with you seeing me with my Kleenex box.
Well, you know what? That's an interesting word, safe. I think there are so many people that go into relationships already with the wrong mindset. You know, you have a couple of mindsets of, if it doesn't work out, I'll just get a divorce.
Yeah.
So that's already
Yeah.
wrong because you're not even trying to make it last.
Yes.
You already have, I'm going to keep my apartment
Right.
in case she trip out, I can go
Exactly.
home. Okay, so, but the second thing is when you are in a relationship and people do it on such like a fast forward speed. If you take your time, you can develop a safe haven. And that's what a relationship should be.
And we're going to end on this note because that's one of the things I thought about when we talk about what relationships are about. We've equated love with sex.
Unfortunately.
And so when I hear people talk about love me tonight,
Right.
you can't just love me tonight. The real meaning of
It's not
love
even
means
possible.
that it's more than tonight.
Exactly.
And so as long as we make love about sex,
right.
we make love the physical part,
Right.
we have not invested the time, we've not put the energy into
Exactly.
getting to know whether this person is somebody that I can love through a cold,
Right.
I can love through loss of job, I can love through, because we made it about something that really was just tonight. It didn't even last all night. And for those of you who are listening, I think let's end by advising you to value yourself. If you can identify your worth and your value, other people will do the same.
Absolutely.
This is Mama E. We'll talk to you again next time.